Today, I'd like to dive into an intriguing question. Can men over 60 really get by without a woman in their lives? At first glance, you might think that as a guy approaches his golden years, he'd start to cherish his family and home life even more. After all, this seems like the time when he'd reflect on the comfort of a spouse, someone still spry enough to bring him a glass of water when he needs it. But here's the twist, it often plays out the opposite way. Plenty of men in their 60s are actually saying a firm, no thanks, to women. They're walking away from marriages or steering clear of new relationships entirely. So, what's driving this? Let's unpack a few reasons why a man over 60 might find he's just fine flying solo. First off, he's reached a point where he feels he doesn't owe anyone a thing. Picture this, another rough patch hits a long-term marriage. You'd think after decades together, the bond would be unbreakable, right? Yet this is often when the kids are all grown up and gone, off living their own lives scattered wherever life took them. Suddenly, the older couple looks at each other and realizes their shared chapter might be over. There's no glue holding them together anymore, no obligations left to fulfill. For the guy, this can feel liberating. He's thrilled to part ways with his wife, ready to embrace a life where he's answerable only to himself. Now, he can spend his evenings chasing dreams he shelved years ago because his spouse wasn't on board. Divorced and free, nothing stopping him from doing exactly what he wants. Best of all, there's no one nagging him or asking where he's been. He doesn't have to explain why he's home late. Or at all. This setup? It suits him perfectly. Second, he's gotten so comfortable with his own company that he doesn't see any reason to shake things up. Back in his younger days, he might have been eager to switch things around, maybe find a soulmate and build a cozy family nest. But now, after all these years, change feels like more hassle than it's worth. He's content living alone, and he doesn't need anything, or anyone, else. He's savoring life on his terms. His buddies with families might even look at him with a twinge of envy, stuck with partners who pester them or kids who drain their patience. Turns out, having a wife and kids, even ones you adore, doesn't automatically mean a happy home. This guy's so used to being on his own that he wouldn't dream of changing a thing. He loves it just the way it is, and the idea of bringing a woman into the mix? It's not even on his radar. Third, physical closeness with a woman just isn't a priority anymore. Now, not every man would admit this out loud, some might even feel a little sheepish about it, but there are plenty who genuinely don't crave that connection. For some, it's a quiet fear holding them back. They'd rather hit the gym or go for a run than get tangled up with a woman. Maybe someone planted the idea in their head long ago that women only bring trouble. A lot of this could tie back to childhood, say, how his mom treated him growing up. If that relationship was rocky, he might struggle to relate to women at all. Understanding them, navigating their world, it's like a foreign language he never learned. So, he opts out entirely, and that choice feels safer, simpler. Finally, there's this looming sense that time's running short, and he's determined to squeeze every drop out of life. Youth is a distant memory, a chapter he can't rewrite. For men over 60, darker thoughts start creeping in more often. They catch themselves pondering what comes after this life, wondering about the end. It's natural at this stage to start stashing away some cash for a rainy day, because, let's face it, anything could happen. But alongside that, there's a hunger to live fully, to chase every joy still within reach. These guys might still be working, still active, and they want to shape their days exactly how they've always dreamed. No compromises, no settling. They're out there traveling, picking up hobbies, or just kicking back. Whatever it is, it's on their terms. Life's too precious to waste, and they're grabbing every moment they can. So, there you have it, a peek into why some men over 60 are perfectly happy without a woman by their side. It's not about bitterness or giving up. It's about embracing a phase where they call the shots. What do you think? Does this resonate with anyone you know? Now, let's shift gears a bit. Back in the day, some men simply didn't have the chance to live solo. Or maybe they didn't want to. But later on, when health starts to falter or that wild, independent streak finally burns out, a guy might find himself rethinking things. More often than not, he'll start craving a steady companion again. Maybe he'll circle back to his tried and true wife, hoping she'll look after him in his slower years. Or perhaps he'll set out to find someone new. But here's the catch: will she even want to bother with him? That's a big question. Why do men and women need each other anyway? Today's world loves to push this idea of self-sufficiency. Live your life, do your thing, be the boss of your own story. You don't need anybody else, right? Sounds great in theory, but what happens when you put it to the test? The reality is, thriving in this modern world isn't a walk in the park. People already seem so distant from each other, wrapped up in their own bubbles. Imagine coming home after a long day to an empty house, no one to greet you, no one to share a laugh or a meal with. It can hit you hard, leaving you feeling a little lost and gloomy. So, why do we need each other? It's simple: to talk things out, to celebrate the good stuff, to lean on someone when times get tough, to care for one another. Life's better when you've got someone to lighten the load and mix things up a bit. Can a man really go it alone without a woman? Let's chew on that together. In this world, guys face some fierce competition. From the time they're little, they're taught to be tough, fearless, to bring home the bacon and stand up for their loved ones. It's a constant grind, proving yourself, showing off your strength, keeping up appearances. Who can keep that pace forever? When a man finally walks through his front door, that's his chance to kick back, let his guard down, and feel like a champ. To his woman, he's the top dog, the best of the best, and she's the one who reminds him of that. It keeps his confidence intact. But what happens when he gets home and there's no one there? Without that boost, he might struggle to feel complete. For some, that's not even living, it's just getting by. So, why does a man past 60 still need a woman? At this stage, both men and women have a lot to offer each other. The kids are grown and out of the house, the grandkids are probably old enough to fend for themselves, and everyone's off doing their own thing. If you don't have that special someone, a woman you can open up to, share a chuckle with, or sit down for a hearty dinner together, what's it all for? Living just for yourself sounds cool on paper, like some grand adventure. But in practice? It's a pipe dream. Real happiness comes when you've got someone to share the ride with. By the time you hit 60, if you've been with your partner for ages, you're more than just a couple, you're best buddies. You've gotten so used to each other that life without them feels unthinkable. Sure, if she's no longer around, finding someone new is a deeply personal choice. But chances are, he'll want to. As we age, we get a little softer around the edges. Health isn't what it used to be, and the social calendar's not exactly buzzing anymore. Waking up next to someone who respects you, who values you, can make all the difference. It lifts your spirits and makes every day brighter. Now, a quick tip: don't go chasing someone too young. A big age gap might mean she won't get where you're coming from. If you're 60 or beyond, look for a woman closer to your stage of life, or maybe just a tad younger. Someone with a bit more pep in her step. That kind of match can bring a lot of fun and spark to your days. I'd love to hear what you think. Does a man need a woman after 60? Is going it alone easy, or does it wear thin? Feel free to weigh in. And hey, if you're enjoying this, there's plenty more to explore on the channel. Tons of insightful stuff about life and relationships. So, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and stick around. Big thanks for watching, liking, sharing, and dropping your thoughts below. Catch you in the next one. Take care.